What's going on? Happy Saturday. Hope everybody's good. And Conversations with Chike Evans is back for 2025. This is my first broadcast of the new year. Hello, Lania Love. How you doing? Our guest today is my new friend, Carrie Riley, who just came into the room. And I'm not going to do any more introductions. We're just going to get right to it. What's up, K-Tukes? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Blessings and good cheer and all that stuff. Hope everybody's in a good space. Well, hello.
I did it. Hi, friend.
What's up, friend? How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I
Let me see what's
know.
going on with your clothing. What's going on? Do you have a tie on? Is that your collar?
No, this is, oh, can I do a fit check?
Let's do it.
Okay. This is TJ Maxx, Rachel Zoe. I'm
Uh-huh.
really hired. And this is Ralph Lauren, the little polar bear sweater.
Look at that there.
Oh, you got your Ralph Lauren too. I love Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, awesome.
I like
Lania's on.
that look.
Lania says hello. The lady in red.
Hello. Oh, my friend. We had so much fun hanging out that night.
I know. I know. Move your camera up a little bit because you look like your head is cut off.
Okay, how about this?
Perfect. There we go.
Okay. I'm
So, okay.
gonna wipe my lens too. Is that better?
Awesome. There
Okay.
you go. So let's talk about that night. So shout out to Brian Balthazar, who's also my new friend, invited me to his holiday party.
Yeah.
And we walk in, we're terribly late. At least we feel like we're terribly late. And we're nervous about it. So as we're pulling up, there were other people coming, so we don't feel so bad.
Huh?
But miraculously, when we get in, we're making our way to the bar to grab our cocktails, and we bump into your loveliness.
Aw.
And we stay parked talking to you for most of the night because you're so
Oh.
intriguing.
Oh.
And that night I fell in love with you just because of your personality. And I said, I have to have you on the show because I think that you're a light. I think that you're inspirational and you touch people in a way that gets to their funny bone and makes them feel comfortable. And it's inspirational. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's why
That's
you're here.
that is so lovely. Thank you.
Yeah,
I just thought
absolutely.
I was here because you thought I was so hot.
That too. You know how I told you look like you remind me of.
Oh yeah. It was a good one. Mary Lou
Yeah.
Mann.
That's the one that Lania picked.
Oh,
That's the one
Lydia
that
picked it. What did
I
you
picked
pick?
the naughty politician. Remember the naughty politician? The one that was in the movie theater doing the thing that we talked about?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, what was her name? I gotta look her up again. What was her name?
Bobert.
This may have been Cocktail 2. I remember the bad story. I don't even remember that I looked like her.
Yeah. Yeah, you remind me of her.
Oh, good.
With the glasses on. With the glasses on.
Oh, yeah, I don't have my glasses on today. I'm trying contacts now.
Okay, how you like it?
I realize now I don't have my lashes on and that contacts have to come with lashes, but that's okay.
Okay. All right.
I can put them back
Minor
on if you
minor
want.
details, right?
Minor details. It covers my
So
Botox, and I forgot that, but that's okay.
you look wonderful.
Thank you.
What are you talking about?
I
Yeah.
know. Thanks.
So let's get into your background. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
So back in the day, I'm Carrie Riley, but where I grew up, I said my name, Kiri Riley. And when
Oh,
I came down to, because the accent's very
mhm.
harsh. And so when I came down to New York, people were like, uh, the Long Islanders were like, how do you spell Carrie? I'm like, Carey. And they go,
Mhm.
your name is Carrie. It's not Kiri. I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter in Syracuse how you spell Carrie. It sounds exactly the same. It's Kiri. And the
Yeah.
first time I learned that there was a sophistication down here in New York was that moment because they're like, is it Carrie or Kiri? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's Kiri.
how did you adapt to that? Because like from that point, you obviously made your way to television. Did you have to go to some type of class? Did they teach you how to enunciate better, or did you just adapt on your own?
Yes. So I was already in television for a long time, but believe it or not, before that even I got to that point. I was when
Okay.
I was and this is a good thing for teens to realize. When I was in high school, I wanted to be in TV. I knew I wanted to be in TV. And but I was in Syracuse, New York. And I had found that one of the local anchors at WTVH5, Tracy Davidson, she's a big anchor in Philadelphia now. I understood that she was going to be at a special event benefiting something called the Vera House. And so I went with my mom's friend. And I think I was a sophomore in high school, and I asked her for an internship, and she gave it to me. And so it wasn't paid, but I was in high school, and I started my career in TV, behind the scenes then. And then by the time I had and then I did an internship at Regis and Kathy Lee in college. And by the time I graduated, I always wanted to go to New York City. My mother would not allow me to. It's very bad, and very bad things happen there. And so then by the time I graduated college, I was like, I'm going to New York. Because a roommate at Regis and Kathy Lee had a room. And she's like, do you come live with me in Queens? I
Mm,
was like, that sounds amazing. My mom's like, you're going to die. There's only bad things happen there and people die. But I went. And that's when it all started. But to your point, the accent. So I remember a distinct moment. I was doing voiceovers, and I got into
mm-hmm.
the booth, and they said you would do the standard. Okay, just say your name, your agent, and just go into the script. And I was like, "Hi, my name is Curie Riley." And the script was something like, it was like, coming up next on Sundance Channel, family. And the person's like, whoa, where are you from? I was like, Syracuse. And she's like, he goes, you got to work on that. Like, you got to go speak to somebody and learn how to lose it. So I didn't, because I didn't have any money to do that. But I just started slowing down and just being a student of listening of other people speak. And I just soon lost it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not really like, an English accent where people want to hear you talk. Most often a Syracuse accent, they're like, ooh. So it took a while, but I did get rid of it.
Yeah. And I was always taught you were supposed to speak with like a Midwestern
Yeah.
accent because that's Middle America and it's broad across, East and West Coast.
Yeah. And Syracuse is very Midwestern sounding, but when people say that, they don't mean it. They don't. Because then when they hear Midwestern, they go, ooh. It really sounds very Canadian and Fargo, Syracuse,
Mm-hmm.
actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like up in Syracuse, if you have a second home on a lake, because there's a lot of lake houses up there because of the
Mm-hmm.
Finger Lakes and the Great Lakes all over New York, but it's not, uh, people will say, the lake house. It's a camp. And they call it camps. And you'll get there and it could be a 5-bedroom, beautiful home. And you're like, you want to come out to the camp this weekend? And you're thinking, you're going to a cabin. It's a camp.
So, what was your big break? Was that Regis and Kelly
I
or
don't
Kathy? It
think
was
I've
Kathy
had a
then.
big break yet. I'm waiting for my big break.
Oh, come on.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. Well, my first, I remember being a kid going, I just want to meet someone famous. Like, I'm in
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse. I've never even knew anyone who knew someone famous. It was so foreign. And I had been acting since I was like 8 or 10. So I've
Mm-hmm.
been in this world. And then Reese and Kathy Lee was like my first big moment because I had a reason to go to New York. I wasn't, rolling up in a U-Haul, which I later on did do. But then I went back to Richmond and I got a job at the NBC affiliate there
Mm-hmm.
as a production assistant, and I edited the nightly news. And then I moved to New York, and then I got a job at Sundance Channel and then Showtime Networks. I never wanted to be the starving artist. I wanted to
Right.
be like an artist with a 401k. And I
Mm-hmm.
respect the starving artists. I have
Mm-hmm.
friends that are still starving artists in like tenement buildings in New York.
Mm-hmm.
That just wasn't, it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But I will say I was doing a lot of commercials, and my first break was Law and Order
Mm.
as an actor. And just to tell people, like, I am very tenacious and I'm a dog with a bone. And I had so many no's, and I'm not an ingenue, particularly then. Like now this face might work, but then it was like we don't know what to do with you. Like you're 24 and you look like you're the 35, 40-year-old mom sidekick. We don't understand it. You're obviously a character actress. Like you're not beautiful. I'm just saying now I'd have a place. Not then, right? And you got a little bit
Mm.
of a muffin top. We don't know what to do with you. Uh, so but a Law and Order, when I got that, it was a day player role, Detective Jenny Gant. It was just one episode. But I remember when I got it, I just sobbed because I felt like I'd been knocking on a door for years
Wow.
and someone opened it. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, okay, this is how it works. But it's a terrible industry, but that was my first moment.
I wanna
And then
I wanna
Brian
hang
brought
on
me on
that.
the TV show. Oh, what'd you say?
I wanna hang on that for a little bit. You said you were in your 20s, right?
Yeah.
And the scrutiny that comes along with being in the industry on your physical appearance.
Yeah.
What did that do to you mentally, if anything? Like, were you strong enough at that age to let that go into the appropriate place and move on? Or did you internalize it and have to like deal with it?
Um, I had a mother who was always like, if I could show you what I look like in eighth grade, not eighth grade, when I was 8, when I was 10, or even in seventh grade, it wasn't good. And I have a friend who looked at my childhood photo of our family, and she goes, "Wait a minute, you had two brothers?" I'm like, "No, that was me. Okay, that was me." So I had already probably been like compensating for it. I would say I'd already been compensating for it by being a comedian and
Mm,
being funny. You may not notice me this way, but you will notice that I'm going to own it before you own it, and I'm going to make fun of it, and I'm going to, you know, have fun with it, and I'm going to be funny.
hmm. Yeah. How
So I
did you,
think yeah.
were you always funny? Or was that something that you developed because it was an armor for you? Was that all the way around protection? Or was it just in certain areas and you just grew from there?
I don't know if I was always funny. See, my father died when I was 8,
Hmm.
and suddenly, and so we all were very sad. And I think we were just looking for ways for light, and maybe that's when we were like, I was like, look, we can't cry forever. We gotta laugh, you know.
Yeah,
But I certainly had a funny family. But
nice.
I guess I really, and I had to change. I know how I changed schools over 7 times. I don't know why. It was ridiculous. My mother would be like, "We're moving next door to another school system." I'm like, "Why? What's wrong with our house now?" Constantly moving, and so I think I had to figure out real quick when I went into a new school, like who was I in that? Who was I in my community? I'm not the pretty girl. I'm not the hot girl, and based on looks, I'm not what the smartest. I was like an average ADH kid. I'm just going to be funny if I can,
Mm.
which it didn't always work, but
Our friend just came in the room. Hey, Brian,
Brian.
tell me how you guys met. I know you told me at the party, but I want everyone else to hear how you and Brian met.
Oh, gosh, Brian's watching. I better get this right now. I was doing stand-up comedy at I think a pool party, which was an old show, right in New York at Don't Tell Mamas. And Brian was doing stand-up comedy too. And I remember I had a good set and I came off, and he was funny as hell too. And after the show, he's like, "Listen, I don't tell anybody this, but I love you." I'm like, "I love you." And he's like, "I don't tell anybody this, but I'm actually a producer on the Today Show. Would you do a segment for me tomorrow with Marlo Thomas talking about sex with your husband?" I was like, "Yes, yes, I will." And that started, I mean, we've been friends ever since. He's one of my closest and dearest. And I hope he feels, he feels, I just got off the phone with him. What am I talking about? I know we love each other. And I think he put me on the Today Show. Well, he left and came and go, but I mean, it was 8 years. I was regularly on for 8 years. And Brian just, it became something really fun where it was also like if Brian, who also is a non-camera person, if he couldn't make a gig, he'd be like, "Hey, could you fill in for me today and interview X, Y, and Z?" And I was like, "Yeah, could you help me out over here?" And so we just became tag team people too, and always supporting each other. And if you can find a friend that like has the same dreams as you, but is
Mm-hmm.
also your biggest cheerleader, you got to
Mm-hmm.
foster that relationship.
That's my Linnea. Linnea and I are like that. Yeah.
Oh, you are. Because she believes in you and she's pushing you along. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
wonderful.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, Brian Balthazar is currently on streaming on Max on the show Human versus Hamster. So please check him out.
Yeah.
So tell me about some of the other stuff that you do. Let's talk about your educational work. I thought that was very important too. Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. So, this business of TV, I know it's very different when we started, but when I started, you're much younger than me, but it can be very toxic, and you might send a bunch of emails and not work, for a while, or you have to wait still to be chosen, right? And it wasn't good for my mental health. So I'd say about a year ago, I started helping kids find solutions in their community to build their self-esteem, to build themselves up. I was an ADHD kid, and at best a B student, C, I don't even know, but it wasn't even, there was no, I remember my mother distinctly saying, I get a C minus in the class. And she's like, "Well, did you do your best?" And I was like, "Yeah." Okay, then that's fine. And you know what? I didn't do my best. Nobody told me I could do better. Nobody held me to a standard that was better. And
Mm-hmm.
so when it came time for my kids, my daughter suffered a mental health scare, and she's a real creative. And now she's figured it out in academics. She is very good in academics, but she was a real mid student, but we were able to harness her superpower of ADD and take her um, mental health scare, embrace it, find a solution in our community to help other kids suffering with mental health, particularly after COVID. And I helped her. Believe me, she doesn't need my help anymore. But I helped her. She created a mural called tieitoballoon.com. You can go to the website. And she created a mental health curriculum to go along with it that is a coloring activity kit for kids ages, I guess it would be like third to sixth grade, but really any age. You can download it for free at tieitoballoon.com. And she did that in conjunction with the Girl Scouts to earn her Gold Award, which 6% of Girl Scouts earn worldwide. Since then, she's went on to earn the U.S. Congressional, I get choked up when I even say it because I'm so proud of her, the Bronze Medal, which is the
Mm.
highest recognition for youth. So I really like it when, look, we're all going to fall. And to me, particularly for myself, I mean, I've dealt with depression and PTSD and my father dying and everything. We're all going to face the challenges, but what do you do with it? I know that's an old saying, like get up, back up on your horse. Okay, but a lot of kids don't know how to do that.
Right.
So I've developed this system. I think I've worked with over 15 kids now. The kids are rock stars, and they're creating solutions in their community. You can check out Manny's for Grannies. I have this incredible girl I'm working with, Ariana, who goes into nursing homes and she does manicures. She leads a team of volunteers, sometimes 10, 12 girls, boys too, and they are changing senior citizen homes by doing these manicures for seniors and spending time with them. My son's group is called Athletes for Good. He goes out into communities, does coat drives, goes to senior citizens home regularly. They dress up as Santa and elves, and that's about bringing student athletes together to go out into the community and volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm working with a kid, Griffin Looney. He's got Mindful Eats. That's his organization. He is creating a safe platform for student athletes to talk about their mental health struggles.
Mm.
If we could develop the youth who are monsters, beasts, right, to go out and find these solutions, and they're not getting paid, so they're not motivated by money. They're motivated by something on my resume. I want to do good. They don't even know they want to do good yet. That's okay. I don't care why you show up at the table. And then they're changing communities. I mean, if we could have an army of teenagers changing communities, my God, we would have a totally different system in
Yeah,
place.
they are the future.
Yeah. And I think the framework to show them you're capable. Why
Hmm.
can't you have your own organization group, 501c3? I have another girl, she's doing the Project Kenny J. And that's this incredible organization where she wants to get back into her community. She's 15, Esme Keswin. She's awesome. And we're creating a partnership with CASA here in New Jersey. She's going to be doing fundraising. She's going to be changing our community, no question. So that is my new passion. I mean, it's what gets me up in the morning. Obviously, I have a job and I do all my TV stuff, but I really like doing that.
That's awesome.
And I'm hoping to do it on a bigger scale. I'm putting it out there, manifesting it. Do you feel it?
I feel it. I'm thinking about wanting to join you. Like seriously, I want to get involved.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
How would you like to get involved? Because I would love that. Well, you're a nurse.
Anesthesia, anesthesia tech. Yes,
Okay,
not a
anesthesia
nurse.
tech. Okay.
Hmm.
But though that's part of your tribe, the
Yes,
nurses,
yes.
right? Healthcare.
Yep, yep.
And are you in a hospital?
I am.
So maybe you could be an in for us to bring kids in to do good. So like I'll tell you how it works. Like if I see a group of kids, I mean one of my leaders, when we meet with hospitals or nursing homes particularly, I say, how can we serve you? What are your needs?
Hmm.
And I will find a way to do a fundraiser. I mean, if you were to say to me, I just had somebody say to me, you know what? We have insecure children coming through the foster system, and it'd be great if we could just start with like $25 gift cards, Uber Eats, Panera, Starbucks, and when they come to us, we can say, okay, we can take care of them and put that in their pocket,
Hmm.
and that helps them. And I was like, thank you. I have a goal. Perfect. And we're going to do football squares and we're going to send $25 a box for Super Bowl. We're going to raise our first fundraiser to have something like that happen. So, if there's any kind of in at the hospital and what the needs might be, particularly children or seniors, we'll find a way to help. And
Okay.
you're in New York,
No,
right?
I'm in South Jersey.
Oh, that's right. Trenton, Camden.
So yeah, that area.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, good.
yeah,
We haven't done that. There's got to be so many kids that need a mentor like you in your community and your
yeah. I'm with it.
sister.
'Cause I'm all about
Oh,
I'm all about empowerment. All about that.
all about empowerment. You cannot imagine if you give the kid the structure, like how many people maybe have looked at a 15-year-old and said, you could like create your own company. And
Hmm.
I hate to say company because it's not we're not going out and getting LLCs but we're doing the structure like it. It doesn't matter. Just do the work. You
Yes.
know, somebody said to me years ago, and I love this. I was like, oh, I want to be, an actor. And this is one reason why I started doing comedy. He goes, look, nobody paid Picasso to paint. He painted and they bought his paintings. So if you're telling me you want to be a stand-up comedy, don't wait for somebody to hand you a mic and a job. Get out there and do it. And I was like, oh, and that's how I started.
Yeah.
And so I say to kids, you don't need somebody to give you a position in at a place. I'm charging you, letting you know that you're capable. Let's go tomorrow and start volunteering. And they're like, oh, and then it just starts. And own it,
Yeah.
name it,
Yeah.
own it.
My
Get the
dad
social up.
used to say. My dad used to say, if you see a space, stand in it.
Oh, I love that now. I'm putting that down. Your dad's smart.
Yeah.
But I know that because not only do you serve your community, I know you're a paid professional, but it takes a special person to be in a position like you.
Yeah.
Anesthesia, really special. I've been in the hospital before, and nurses are very special people. And I couldn't be a nurse. I'd see like dandruff on someone's head. I'd be like, I'm out. I can't. Oh my God. I got to get out of here. And then your sister's a school teacher.
Yes.
So your dad raised and your mother raised special people.
And she's a teacher.
Oh, your mother's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What grade?
Well, my sister, my mother, and now my sister's daughter, my niece, all three of them, three different generations, deal with early childhood development.
Wow. Oh, that's huge. That's amazing.
So I come from a long line of teachers. I have a lot of teacher aunts, a lot of educators on a
Yeah,
higher level. We're talking collegiate university level.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
One of my aunts even owned a school. So we're all about empowerment, education, and yeah,
It's in your bones.
yeah,
That's amazing. I
yeah.
come from my sister's a teacher, my cousin's a teacher, my mother was a teacher. I come from a family like that too, and I just feel like um, I worry about that because I feel like teachers are very quickly it might be people that are codependent and can become very, very frustrated very easily, underappreciated, and eaten up. And I just wish there was a better way for that.
I do too. And growing up and watching it throughout my life, and you see how it wears on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Yep.
struggle that they deal with and the issues of fighting against a system that looks at things one way, but you're in the trenches and you see it another way. And how
And
do you
feeling
handle it?
value
Yeah,
and being valued, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. But it's impactful.
So we share something in common. You brought up a little earlier about struggling with depression. Can we talk about that a
Yeah,
little bit? So,
always.
friend, how do you cope when you have a moment or moments?
I'm always learning. Like, well, I'm also in menopause. And so that you want to talk about, you know, I long for the depression of 10 years ago just during menstruation.
Mm,
Depression
mm,
menopause is like a Greek chorus. It's like, "Wah!" It's off the hook.
mm,
Just upsetting. How do I deal with it? I don't really I wish I had an answer. I've done medication. I've done, all the things you're supposed to do. I've
mm-hmm,
done, and I've found a lot of value in it. I once had a professional say to me, and I think it's very true, to get out of depression is a job. And I've been clinically depressed where I couldn't get out of bed for like 6 weeks. It's a job, and it's a four-legged stool. And each leg holds up that stool, and each leg has a different role. You've got therapy as a leg, another leg of the stool is meditation or prayer, depending
mm-hmm,
on where you are. Another one is physical, is therapy. Is yeah, therapy, and then you have medication.
mm-hmm.
So I think that it's a four-legged stool. It certainly is for me. I would say one of the greatest gifts these kids have given back to me now that I'm working with them is that I would put back in there service. I think service is the leading action you
Mm-hmm.
can take because it's an
Yeah.
action. And when you're depressed, it is very hard to take action. It's
Mm-hmm.
very hard to change, to get up off out of bed, to make it happen. But when you have to show up for someone, man, I think that is what a gift it is. It's invaluable. You're taking the focus off you. And I think that's probably how now I do it most is with serving.
Yeah. In my situation, I found it was different because I was in action in my depression. So it was like I was out for 2 years and I woke up after 2 years. I was functional, but I wasn't present. I was
Mm-hmm.
existing and I wasn't living. And
Mm-hmm.
I just looked in the mirror one day and I noticed somebody different, a person that had aged, a person that I didn't recognize. And I had to become familiar with this new person that I found after 2 years and wonder what happened in the past 2 years. So it was a bit of work, and it still is work because you find yourself trying to stay ahead of what's always looming in your back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So
yeah.
what was the action that it couldn't have just been waking up looking in the mirror. What was the switch? The flip of the switch.
So the switch was, and this happened in 2010. I had major things happen that year, sent me reeling into a depression, and I had a health scare,
Mm,
which took me close to
mm,
death. That woke me up,
okay.
and um, it was the action of doing more things that I've always had in my, my life trunk. Things I'm going to do them now. Don't
Do them
wait.
now.
Yeah, get it done. I created a list, and the list actually brought me back to
Oh,
life.
I
Yeah.
love that. I'm writing that down. Create a list. I love that. What was the prompt for the list?
The prompt for the list was actually what I'm doing now. I wanted to entertain. I wanted to make people laugh, make people smile. I'm all about inspiration. I want to inspire others. And I took an audition, and the lady, she said I did well in the reading. And then she flipped my card over and she saw my stats. She looked at my age and she said, well, why did you wait so long? And that kind of hit me a certain
Mm,
way. Every day that I have is an opportunity. That's how I look at it. But she kind of wrote me off. And then my attitude to her was like, I'll show you. So I
yeah.
started doing things myself. And this is the product of me doing things myself.
So you painted and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
before somebody paid you to paint.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So you're really a creator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
And I had to realize that myself. That was something that I had to figure out. I didn't know that I was. And
Yeah.
and I'll say this to people. If you feel a certain way within your spirit and you think a certain way within your spirit, and the only thing that you aren't doing is the actual action of it, you are already that thing. Just
Oh, I
actualize it.
love that. I love that. I would say one of my biggest teachers for myself is my daughter Ava,
Mm,
and I've learned a lot from her, even though she's 19 now. But she's and my son. I learned a lot from my son too. But we haven't had as much opportunity to learn yet together. But my daughter was teaching me about manifestation, and it's working for her, and it works for me, and I'm very surprised by that. And so she's like, you have to speak to yourself like you'll think you're delusional at first, because I'm thinking of what you just mentioned right there.
mm-hmm,
She goes, you have to speak to yourself like it's already happened, like
mm-hmm,
like you would say,
mm-hmm,
even though I'm like, but it hasn't happened. She's like, it doesn't matter, mom. I, I'm so excited that you helping teenagers has now gone nationwide, and it's a program you're doing. And I'm like, it's not a program, Dad. Wait, I'm like, yes, isn't it amazing? I love it.
mm-hmm. Exactly.
But what you
And
just
so
said, right?
even with that, because some people can't wrap their mind around that
Yeah.
concept, just imagine you're on the couch and you want the nice cool glass of water that's across the room, but you don't want to get up because you're lazy and you don't want to go over there and get it. Well, then imagine that there's a rope tied around that water that you want. Pull it to you. That's what manifestation is. You will it, and you start making the moves as if you have it, and you walk in the direction of going to go get it at the same time,
Mm,
and it happens. And it's funny that you brought that up because that is actually a part of my format. I always get my guests to manifest something for themselves before we're
I
done.
love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's I like the way you said it. I like that rope. I'm going to think about that
Mm-hmm.
because I now when you were saying that, I was thinking that's kind of what I'm doing with these kids. It's like, okay, so let's manifest, like you're saying, you have your own organization based
Mm-hmm.
on a passion you love, doing nails. Let's go out
Mm-hmm.
and do it.
Mm-hmm. That's part of that whole term "fake it till you make it." That's a part of manifestation. You act as if
Yeah.
you stand in the space. You stand in the space of what you desire to do, and fully take on everything that comes along with that.
So I think people struggle with the idea that the talking like it's happened and it hasn't happened yet is inauthentic and a lie.
Mm.
And so how do you think we can get around that thinking? And I think what you just said, more of a physical action, stand in the space. You're not
Mhm.
saying take
So
the
if you
action.
can envision something, right? If you can envision it, and you know the compartments of it and the components that make it what it is, just start physically actualizing it.
So can
And
what would that be an example of?
so you hear actors and actresses talk all the time about getting into a role, and some of them may not be able to find the character. But if you can physically see the character and how they look, and maybe the scenery around them, and you step into that space, okay, now being in the space of it starts to make you feel like, okay, maybe I'm in this time period. Then you put on the
Ah,
clothes, and then now it supports what you now have to actualize. And then you can get in a better mindset of, okay, this is what it needs to be. You can get into the body of it and embed your spirit and your soul into it and become it. So that thing that you want to be, that thing that you want, maybe you need to go to the store and look at the thing every day that you desire. Maybe you need to covet it more.
oh, I
Study it,
love
look
that.
at it, pull it into your psyche, memorize it, close your eyes and you can see it. The more you do that, the desire to obtain it will get greater, and it will force you to actually physically get toward it, whatever it is, whether it be something externally physical, whether it be an idea. If there's an idea that you have, start to do the things that will make that thing come alive.
I love that. So it's almost like where I used to tell my kids when they would, my daughter, she would like put on an outfit for school, sweatpants. I was like, you're a student. You don't look like a student. I know you're allowed to wear that, but how are
Mhm.
you going to sit there and crack a code and get to work and, be focused in a chair when you look like you're going to bed? You have to dress like a student. So I
Yeah.
guess that's another way of thinking of it. Like
Hmm.
dress like you already have the job.
Hmm.
These things I guess we've heard, you and me, as kids our whole lives. Really, our parents were teaching manifestation. Like I've always said to my kids when they walked out the door, great things are going to happen to me today. And my son
Hmm.
will usually go, nothing great is going to happen to me today. Because they don't want to hear it.
And that's
Which is a,
true. Like you put yourself in a space of positivity, and you just start looking at everything from a positive mindset, no matter what it
yeah.
is. Find the good in whatever it is. Oh, the building fell down today. Well, no one got hurt. That's the good thing about the
There were
building falling down.
helpers to help put the building back.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm. Even if someone got hurt, well, they are still living. That's a good positive thing about the bad thing that
I
happened.
like that.
Always trying to find some good in it.
I like that.
Yeah. I like
It's definitely,
you a lot, lady. I really do. I love
oh,
your spirit.
I love you. I was so happy when you asked me to be here. We had
Oh, yeah,
so
of
much
course.
fun talking that night, particularly because I was a lone wolf. You had
Hmm.
you had a pack with you. You had your
I did.
sister, you had your best
Hmm.
friend. You
Hmm.
were like, you brought a party to the party. I brought myself. And I was like, I don't know anybody. And I was nervous. And I was like, and so it was you guys were so kind to bring me in.
Hmm. Absolutely. But
And,
but your personality and your charm, you lit up for us. You really did.
oh,
You were like a beacon, and we were drawn to you.
oh, well, good. I want to keep our connection moving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm not going to keep you too much on this Saturday, but now's the time I need you to manifest something for yourself.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I wish I'm going to manifest. What am I going to manifest? prosperity, or it needs to be really specific. I found
You have
that
to
the
be,
more
you have to
specific,
be
the better.
specific with manifestation. You have to be specific.
You have to be
Call a
very
thing a
specific.
thing.
I'm going to work with, because I just got off the phone with them, Brian Balthazar and I are going to host our own talk show in 2025. And it's going to be syndicated across the United States. I am making so much money changing people's lives doing it. Do you feel it? And I'm going to have you on as my health expert. Regular friends. It's Brian and Carrie and friends, and you're one of our friends.
I'm here for it. I'm here for all of that.
Okay, good. You're our manifestation expert on the show. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll take that. So tell people where they can find you, follow you, see your work, and help out, in your organizations.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. So you here, Carrie Riley at Instagram.com. I'm working on my website currently, carrieriley.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Carrie Riley. I'm regularly on different shows around the country, so you can always find me there. I help people save money. I help people shop. I help people, find different products on the market or how to have a great Super Bowl party. So I'm regularly on Fox and Friends, on different stations across the country as well that are local. So that's where you're going to find me. Reach out. If you think by the way, you can just DM me in my Instagram. If you think you have a kid in high school, all the way through college, who needs strategies to be successful, strategies to, feel better every day, hit me up. Let's talk. I love to strategize solutions to problems in my community, and I think kids are the ones to lead us.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I want to tell you, because I'm serious about coming aboard with you and helping you out. I'm in transition at work. I was approached about a promotion. So we don't know where that is right now. We're negotiating things back and forth. But once that lands, either way, once it settles, I'm going to reach out.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll settle on the other side because I'll be in an even better position to do what I need to do.
Let's manifest it.
Oh, yeah.
I am so proud of you for getting that incredible promotion. You are killing it right now.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you.
They're paying you so much more money. You're
Yes,
helping
they are.
so many more people. And
Yes,
oh
they
my
are.
gosh, this is amazing. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I receive it.
You receive it. Thank you.
Lady, I love you much.
I love you too.
And we'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon. Thanks for having
All right.
me.
And thank you for doing this.
Oh
Absolutely.
my gosh, I loved it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.